you started Coinbase when Bitcoin was $10.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned an incredible system with security, with transactions. Everything is thought through. There's a lot going on. But what was version 1 back in those early days? The first prototype of Coinbase. What did that look like?
Yeah.
Like what did it take to write it, to think through it, and make it work enough to at least make you believe that it's going to work?
Well, I definitely didn't know if it was going to work. I mean, it was kind of, I felt like I was just following my gut. So, I mean, I was working at Airbnb. I was a software engineer there, project manager. I was working on some fraud prevention stuff, for instance. And I read the Bitcoin white paper in kind of December of 2010. I started going to some Bitcoin meetups in the Bay Area, met lots of interesting people there, like crazy people, anarchists, like really brilliant people, all the above. And so I started nights and weekends trying to put together a prototype. And my initial thought was, well, SMTP is a protocol that runs email, and Git is a protocol for version control that people made, like Gmail and GitHub. Most people don't want to run their own email server or even their own Git server. They just want to like use a hosted thing that will do all the security and backups for them. So the thought in my head at that time was, Bitcoin's this new protocol. There's probably going to be somebody who makes a hosted service that does all the security and backups for you, makes Bitcoin as a protocol easy to use. So maybe I should make like a hosted Bitcoin wallet or something. That was it was going to make Gmail for Bitcoin or something. And a bunch of people told me that was a bad idea. Like most of my smart friends who I told about it, they were like, well, first of all, I don't really get what you're doing at all. Like Bitcoin sounds like a scam or something you've gotten involved in. But then other people who understood what Bitcoin was told me they thought it was a dumb idea, because they're like, dude, if you store all this Bitcoin, you're just going to get hacked. Like nobody, why would you do that? And so I kind of had this thought, like, you know what? I'm not going to go all in and like store everyone's Bitcoin. That would be too much right now. I have a job. I have a day job, but let me just make a prototype, and I'll tell people this is like a beta thing. Like, don't put any real money in it, and just see if there's interest. And if I feel like I'm onto something, maybe I'll go do this as a company. Because I really wanted to be an entrepreneur at that time. I was 29. I was almost turning 30, and I always wanted to like start a company, but I wasn't yet. I was an employee at a company that was great. But so anyway, I had this prototype I was hacking together nights and weekends. I actually wrote a whole Bitcoin node in Ruby, which turned out to be maybe a weird decision in hindsight, because Ruby wasn't the most performant language. We've subsequently had to rebuild that many times. But yeah, I had this hosted Bitcoin wallet, and the thing that I didn't have any users for it, by the way. I applied to Y Combinator because I was like, maybe if somebody there writes me a check, this will like make it feel like a real company. And I was trying to find a co-founder at that time, unsuccessfully. So I was basically just wandering in the desert. I had a lot of self-doubt about this, because I was like, I don't know, all my friends think this is kind of dumb, and maybe Bitcoin is just going to get shut down, and like this will all be some stupid thing. So there was definitely a feeling of just wandering, lost in the desert, lots of self-doubt. Paul Graham and the Y Combinator group kind of wrote me the first check after I went and interviewed and stuff, and they wrote me a check for like $150K. And that was the first time somebody who I really looked up to kind of said, this is worth pursuing. Like maybe you're onto something, maybe you're not, but like let's at least try it. And so that was kind of what gave me the confidence to quit my job and try it. And I'll wrap the story here by saying that like I found the right co-founder after Y Combinator. We still didn't have any customers. The thing that, I basically launched the hosted Bitcoin wallet. There were people signing up. I just posted on Reddit and places like that. And, maybe like 100 people would sign up, and then nobody would come back. And so I was like, in Y Combinator, they often tell you like, talk to your customers and improve your product. Talk to your customers, improve your product. That's all you're supposed to be doing. Try to find product market fit. So I emailed like 5 of the users that had signed up. And I was like, hey, I worked on this app. I saw you signed up. Can I get on the phone with you? I get on the phone with like 5 of these folks. And I was like, why didn't you come back? And the guy was like, well, the app was okay for a beta, but like I don't have any Bitcoin, so I didn't really know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. And I remember this light bulb kind of went off in my head. I was like, well, if I put a buy Bitcoin button in there, would you have used it? And he was like, yeah, maybe. So then I had this, we went about the process. My co-founder at that time, we like basically had to get like a bank partnership, payment rails, an exchange, basic exchange functionality, all that stuff I was mentioning earlier in place. And the minute we launched that feature where you could just click buy, put in your bank account or credit card, buy Bitcoin. It showed up in your account. From that day forward, like the number of users started to go up like this. And so we finally had found product market fit after 2 years of wandering in the desert.
So you weren't even thinking about to buy the on ramps. You would think it would be just a wallet, a place to store Bitcoin that you've already gotten.
Yeah.
Okay. This is, I mean, because that's such a pain to do, to have to work with others to convert dollars or any fiat currency into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So did you? I mean, were you overwhelmed by the immensity of the task here, or were you just sort of not allowing yourself to think too deeply through this whole thing and just letting the optimism take over here?
I was really looking forward to like doing something crazy and like a big challenge. And I wanted to, I love kind of crisis moments like that where, I'm very determined, right? And especially when I get like very set on something and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to figure out a way to make this fucking thing work, like no matter what. And so I reveled in that. I was sort of, I had read all these books about startups, and like every startup has these like, major setbacks and just like nothing works. And so
that was a sign that you're doing something right.
I had no idea if I was doing anything right at all, but I was kind of loving the experience of it in a weird way. It felt stressful at the time, like, nothing was working, but I felt like I was on the right path somehow. And so I just kept going.